Good evening, my local drones. This is Bio Gundam here, and I'm back again for another video. So today I've got my buddy Christian from the Ohio guys. Introduce yourself.
Yo, hey, viewers out there. This is Christian Ocampo, coming here for another podcast with good old Bio Gundam. Hopefully, we will entertain you for tonight, today, whatever time you're watching this video.
Yeah, time zones are weird. So today, me and Christian here, we're going to be talking about We Without Wings, or Otachi ni Tsubasa wa Nai, as it's known in Japanese. My Japanese is horrible, so forgive me, but I am trying. So we're just going to refer to it as We Without Wings. So We Without Wings is an anime that's based on a visual novel made by the same people who did Shuffle and other similar, games and stuff. It's a visual novel. It's a visual novel adaptation. Now I know there's a lot of red flags, but bear with us. So the reason why we decided to talk about We Without Wings is because there is something special about this anime that we really can't put our finger on, but also I think this anime warrants, a little bit of a discussion for what it does. Now, I'm just gonna say this right off the bat, it is kind of generic as fuck in a lot of aspects. We're not breaking new ground here, as far as visual novel adaptations go. Would you agree?
No, I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah, we're not breaking any new ground here. However, there is some sort of interesting aspects about this show, and there's some stuff about it that gives us sort of this charm about it has this charm about it. Would you agree, Christian? It has this kind of charm about it that you can't hate it.
Yeah, definitely. It's got that charm, I guess a mixture between its animation, its storytelling, the pacing, and what it's trying to pull out from the viewer.
Yeah. So We Without Wings, it's a show that takes place in a city, and we're basically showing these three vignettes of our three main characters. So we have Takashi, we have Shusuke, and Hayato. And we basically follow these three main characters around in their little vignettes in the city. However, there is a plot twist that happens that we're not going to bring up now, but we will talk about later. But for now, I think we should just talk about the story in the little vignettes and how they present themselves. So what's your thoughts on the first vignettes, featuring Takashi?
For that one, like you said, when you said generic, with the setting, I kind of agree with you. The whole being in high school, adolescence, we're in the story of Takashi, how we just see his daily life at school, and then it cuts off once the bell rings at the end of the day. So the time that we see him, with his girlfriend, with his classmates, that's all we really get to see, and how the interactions go on those time frames.
Yeah, it's kind of boring, and in the middle of these segments, he goes to this fantasy world named Gringa, and I'm just is this one of those shows where it's it seems normal on the outside, but on the inside it's all this supernatural shit going on, similar to Clamp or Key anime or visual novels. You've seen some Clamp. Not Clamp. It'd be Key, right? Who were the people who did Clannad again? I think it was Key.
Yeah, it's Key.
You've seen some Key works where they have these weird almost supernatural elements in the show, or some sort of mysticism. You kind of think that you kind of think about that about his segments, it's generic school life, and then he's this fantasy badass, and it's okay, this is kind of interesting. He's from some sort of alternate realm. And you kind of wonder is this actually real, or is this some sort of delusion that he makes for himself to make his life seem more interesting than it actually is? But we'll get into that later. So next guy we have is Shusuke. I think I find his vignettes the most entertaining, probably out of the three.
In what way?
I think it's because he starts he's kind of this lovable, slightly pervert. I think the funny thing about it is that he works as a freelance reviewer. He makes reviews and stuff for books and works for a magazine. And he comes across this girl who he thinks is a former porn actress, who's running a book, and he tries to sweep her off her feet and shit, and oh yeah, I've read your book, I want to I'm gonna write a review about your book and shit, and she's flattered, and then it turns out that she's not the it turns out that she says a similar name to the porn actress, but it's not actually her. She's actually like a teenage novelist, or teenage high school novelist who has apparently written her second book. And what I find interesting about their relationship is that like he gets a job at this cafe or slash bar named Alexander, and she apparently works at Alexander too, and basically they have this co-worker senpai kohai relationship, and also this relationship that's developed on their love of literature and books. And I should probably introduce her. She's Hiyoko. That's her name, Hiyoko. Yeah, she's like writing a book and stuff. She's writing books. And basically they have this sort of like relationship developed between them, like they're over their love of literature and stuff. And also I just find the cast at Alexander really charming, like the fucking bartender guy, the playboy guy. Like they're just really charming and funny.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The bartender who's actually also the owner of Alexander. And then you got his maids that got like three of them. One of them actually has to go back to school, so she gets switched out by the book author. So 2, 3, whatever the number is. So they got a good dynamic going. How they interact with the second main character.
Yeah, main character. Yeah, it's just a really fun dynamic. And then we get to the sort of third character, Hayato. So, and then for the third vignette, we get introduced to sort of like Hayato. He's a bit of a hard-boiled sort of freelancer. What's the word you could? What would you like? Temp worker? I don't know the words to describe it. Like, what would you describe it as?
I guess we can call him a not a jack of all trades, but a man for hire, or just he even said too, like he does all types of jobs. So whatever the job is that he'll take, as long as it's not too
illegal,
too difficult, too ludicrous, he'll do it. So I guess it's not real word, because again his work. The type of the work he looks for, it is limited, so it's hard to call him a freelancer.
Okay, well, he's basically kind of like he does. Let's just call him like an odd jobs man. Like he does odd jobs, around the city, and basically what we're shown through this character is basically like the nightlife and some a bit of like the street level crime, like street level stuff that sort of happens in the city. Like we get introduced to the Firebirds or the Firehawks. This little like neighborhood watch / gang / vigilante group who sort of like patrol the city at nighttime and sort of like keep things on the level.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really kind of interesting. Like I find his vignettes a lot more interesting. So like on a microcosm level, like it's kind of showing you stuff that like it's showing you a level. Like it's almost like it's showing you like the lifeblood of the city almost in a way, like the nightlife and almost like the lifeblood of the city. Like there's clubs, there's people doing drugs and drinking, and there's street brawls in the streets. Like it's quite do-ra-ra-ra in a sense. Like it's almost like the city has a character in itself, and these people are like representations of the city.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Like Hayato is actually out of the three more my favorite. Like he's more street smart. He's more witty. He knows the right words to say with different people. And I just like seeing like what he's seeing when he goes through one street another. Like he shows us like the underbelly of the city, that you will not see in the daytime, and that's something I really appreciate.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And basically through like his little adventures, he gets involved with Naru, whose older brother is actually the leader of the Firebirds, the Firehawks. I forget what they're called, but that like she's the younger sister of this gang leader, and basically gets involved with her looking for her bike that's gone missing. Now you would think that sounds boring as fuck, but apparently it isn't. Like he gets involved with like he gets involved with mediating like a gang dispute between like the bird people and this gang of like gothic emo gangsters. And I think like one of the guys, like one of the more extreme guys, like he brings out like a gun to like this fight, and like Hayato is like, oh shit, no you don't, and he tries to break it up, and then this guy, like he starts causing some shit, like he shoots a merchant, he causes trouble for actually Shusuke as well. Like he actually attacks Shusuke, and you're probably wondering what, and I think our viewers are sort of wondering why. It's like, oh, why would he attack Shusuke? Why would he attack this character? Do you want to sort of give away the twist before we like dive more into like the little vignettes?
Yeah, I can. Well, as we see in the next episode or two, after Hayato knocks out the guy with the gun, he then recognizes him as the other personality, which is Shusuke. So when he sees him working at the restaurant Alexander, he thinks they're the same person, but they're not. That's why he gets into a quick scuffle with him. So it builds more intensity, more suspense to what we're seeing. Two different people or people that should not really be interacting end up interacting in that short moment.
Yeah. So we find out that all three of our main characters that we've been following, they're actually the same guy. It's a person with multiple personalities. It's the same guy. And that's what, because if you, and when I was watching the show at the beginning, I actually didn't realize that until the very end, because, the way the show presents itself, it's very confusing. It uses the motif or the symbolism of, the TV and it changing channel. Because I think the show, the first, I think I should just backtrack a little bit. The first couple episodes of the show is really confusing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, but they do it in a smart way. I think it's kind of a cool way to kind of catch the viewer off guard. Even this was actually the second time I watched it, I was even caught off guard. I keep forgetting, I'm going to get tricked in a way, but in a smart way.
Yeah,
if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. So basically, as we're sort of as the show, as we're watching the show, it has these little segments where it's we're watching this kid with a TV and he's swapping the channel out, and then we go to another vignette. That isn't a metaphor. That's actually literal, because we find out that these three personalities, they're not actually the real person. The real person is someone named Yoji. So his actual name. So his actual name is not Takashi or Shusuke or Hayato. It's Yoji Hanana. And we find out that his basically they use the motif of TV or change the channel as a motif to basically describe and showcase him switching personalities. It's it's like a TV switch. He switches to another channel. His real personality basically swaps in these other personalities and to take over for him. It's just okay, schoolyard hijinks is done. Let's just change the channel. And at the beginning, you're gonna get really confused. Some of these the show cuts into these random fucking scenes and shit, and it doesn't make sense. But when you think about it, this is a person who is very mentally unstable. And you're kind of wondering, is the stuff we're seeing, some of the random stuff, did this actually happen? Or is this, stuff that he's, imagining? And I'm not saying that it makes you question reality, say, Perfect Blue, but it kind of gives you this, uncertainty of, are we seeing what is actually happening and what we're seeing? Is that, actually real? Is that real, or is this all just a figment of this one person's imagination? Your thoughts?
I like that what you call it, I guess that metaphor, not metaphor, where he switches the TV, and he also is seeing what's happening. So he's just an audience member like us, watching what's going on between the three personalities. So I think it's pretty cool. Okay, this is actually him, how he's living his life, or the life that he built around himself. So I think again, a neat twist that the show throws at us.
And I think a really cool visual they do is that I think a really cool visual they do is that as you watch these little vignettes, you see the character of how they want to be seen, but to everyone else they look like Takashi, or Yoji as he's called. He looks exactly the same. But do you notice that when the I think it's in the 11th or 10th episode where Takashi is walking around town with his girlfriend, and some of these people were hey, are you alright, Drac, or are you alright, Shusuke? And he's who are these people? And it does this cutaway, this it splits the screen, and it shows what we're seeing and it shows what they're seeing. They view this guy as he's I love that moment, and Takashi's what are you talking about? I don't know who you are. And all these people that know him is are you okay, dude? What's wrong with you? Are you alright? You they're generally concerned for Drac or Shusuke, and they see this guy who looks like Shusuke or Drac, and they're not who is this person? Who are you? Are you alright, Drac? Are you alright, Shusuke? Are you alright? And that's just a really cool scene, because the scene I'm talking about, and what was your thoughts?
Yes. So my thoughts it makes sense because it's only us, the audience, us watching it. We're the ones that get to see the difference, with their hair color, the hairstyle that we see in each vignette.
Yep.
But for the characters in the show, it's the same person. Like the hair doesn't change, their hair color doesn't change.
I think the only thing that changes is maybe like the outfits and the demeanor.
That's it. That's the only difference that they are seeing. They're seeing that okay, they're not wearing their same usual attire. They're not responding the way they usually would respond when they interact with them any other day. They know there's like something off, but they just don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. Like when Takashi walks up to the creep stand where Hayato gets some of his jobs, she's like, "Wait, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you so polite and timid?" And then you have like the little girl Alice is just like, "This is not wrong, Drac. This is not Drac. Like this is not like." And he's in Takashi, he's just confused. He's like, "Who are you people? I don't know who you are." And we get even more hijinks where like Takashi is basically like he's AFK, away from keyboard for a couple of days, longer than usual, and basically Shusuke and Hayato, they have the cover for him, and like his school life just gets like basically like half the people think he's a fucking Chad now. Like Takashi's now a Chad. Like they're like Hayato like basically is put it like Takashi / Hayato is put in charge of like organizing something, and he basically says like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. Like he goes like fucking like T-pose, assert dominance, and like one of the girls that's kind of a bitch to him is like she's like blushing. She's like, holy shit! Like where did this like assertiveness and confidence come from?
Yeah, and that's what we get to see. We get to see like the roles reverse. Like the guys trying to cover each other, as best as they can, even though they don't.
Yeah, like Shusuke is like first on the bat, and he's like being cheerful and happy, and people like giving him weird looks. Like it's like this guy was timid like yesterday, and now he's like cheerful and happy, and the next day he's like this hard-boiled, hard-ass, confident. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, I especially the highlight when he took over, like that's a complete 180 right there. So as you already mentioned, everyone got to see like the gruffness. They got to see the confidence, that was just oozing from Hayato. And that again, that should be a dead giveaway that this is not the same person. This is a completely different personality.
But no one know. But I think the only people that know is like his I think the only few people that actually know about his split personality is like his is Takashi's girlfriend, which is Asuka. Yeah.
Yes.
Asuka. You've got Asuka. We also have Kuruduru, the guy who basically like runs the emo gang as well. He goes to the same school, and also Kazuma as well. Mm-hmm. And fun fact is that actually some of these characters in the individual vignettes, we actually see them in like the other characters' vignettes. Like I think a couple, like one of the guys who's in the street gang, he's also goes to the same high school, and he's apparently keeping an eye on old Takashi, / Shusuke / Hayato. He's keeping an eye on him.
I like you said, like even like this is my second time, I missed it. Like I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was fooled from this show.
It's actually the same guy because you just see him in a different outfit. Like it's I think it's the same guy. Like there's two dudes that look similar, but it's the same guy. It's Kazuma. Like he's literally it's this guy. Yeah, it's this guy. Like we find like he acts like a bit of a bully jerk to Takashi, but we actually find out that like he's keeping an eye on fucking this dude. Like he's keeping an eye on him because like he's just like, this guy's got 3 personalities. I don't know what trouble he's gonna get into. I need to fucking watch out for him. And like I think that's really cool. And by the way, he's not the only guy that has personality disorder. So the Playboy guy that we mentioned in the sort of like Shusuke's vignette, he's got split personality as well. First first one is the Playboy, and then the other guy is like the Chinibio gangster guy, the Phoenix. Which, by the way, that dude is fucking awesome as shit.
Yeah, no, he is. Again, I didn't expect it because, again, a 180 in personality. Because, he's a cool guy, like, very,
yeah, he's like too cool for school kind of playboy. And then you have, like, his split personality. He's like, he's not psycho, but he's almost like, he's the type of guy that, like, if he wasn't in an anime, he would be considered, like, almost, like, psychotic.
I think he's just a bit war hungry in a way, like he's ready for action. That's the vibe I got from him. Like,
yeah, but he also runs like he also runs like he runs like gangsters and does drugs and all this fun shit. It's like
That too.
That I'm like, this is fucking cool. And and another thing we have as well is the guy, I think it's Kora, like this guy as well, who's the leader of the the emo gang as well. Like when he sees like Shusuke / Takashi / Hayato in school, he's just like, oh my god, I can fucking spot you a mile away. And he's like, oh man, how many people are more swimming around the head of yours? And it's like, he knows.
Yeah, like I said, like you didn't expect until he like came up, like when he fast up, like said, hey, I've actually seen a bunch of it. Even I wouldn't say it was scary, but what was kind of alarming is when he said that he met all the ones, and you're like, well, man, there's only 3 that we know: Takashi, Shunsuke, and Hayato. Now this guy's telling us that there were a bunch of others, and like, god dang, it kind of gets you feeling like for the other personalities that came when this guy was like around. So now you question, like, hopefully the guys were as cool or as charming as the personalities here. So that's what kind of got me.
Yeah, because I think it's like because we get Gara Black Knight, basically like his Chinibyo one. Like we get a 4th guy too, like this Chinibyo guy who's like Gara Dark Black, and he starts this like cream pie fight after like on Christmas Day and shit, and it's just like with the Phoenix guy, it's absolutely great. And then they sing the song about dick or something like that. Like it's just hilarious. Like this Chinibyo guy shows up, and like when he shows up, the sister, the younger sister, she's like, no, I don't want Takashi, I don't want Hayato, I don't want Shusuke, I want my brother back. Like not all, like because like the Gara Dark Knight guy says like, oh no, I'm here to stay. Like I've taken over, and she says like, no. I don't want Takashi. I don't want no. You say like she says like you say that, but like there are other people that came and went. Like they came and disappeared, and she says like I don't want Shusuke, I don't want Takashi, I don't want Hayato. I want my brother Yoji back. Like I want him back, not these split personalities. And basically the Shinibyo Gara Black Dark Knight guy, he commits ego death. And ego death, like he dies.
Oh.
Like, basically, he's just like, oh my god, I've hurt this person that I care about, that, we care about. And he basically ego deaths himself. Like, ego deaths. And he's, like, sinking into consciousness. And he basically... And then he talks to the kid, which is actually Yoji. And he says, like, come out, man. You're causing your sister, like, harm and pain. Like, please, come out. And he's like...
go ahead.
And he's like, please, you can't, like, hide from reality. You must be, like, he's basically like, please, come out. And he's like, no, I don't want to. And Gara Dark Knight guy, he disappears forever.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it death. I was going to say, like, I wouldn't call it death because, he kind of is still around in a subway, in a way that he can still sort of come out, which he does briefly later in a few episodes.
Yes.
But like, I wouldn't say like death, like he's completely gone. So I would just say he just faded back into his inner self.
Yeah, he went back, and eventually, Takashi's girlfriend catches on to this, and she wants to help him. Like she wants to help him get better, and because she cares about Takashi and stuff like that, and she wants to help him get better. And then we find out that like this fantasy world that he's been dreaming of, it's a delusion. It's all an illusion.
Yeah, no, that one really, that was another twist. Like, we didn't, because we were told like even all these episodes, like we were convinced, okay, this world has got to exist, in
because some of these people claim they're from it, and it turns out like no, it's all this one giant Shinibyo fantasy.
Yeah, I think in a way when she showed us like the video game that had the world, I was like, god dang, like so everything is fake, everything is not what it seems to be.
It's not real. And you think about it, they call each other by codenames like Hawk, Falcon, Phoenix, and Chicken, and all these things, like bird names as well. Because I think those are like the names they have, like because. Apparently, he made these personas based on characters in the game. Like, so it's almost like the main character, like as an aspect, like he almost comes off as an incredibly fractured human being who's like coming up with personalities and personas to try and survive in the real life because of like some sort of trauma. And there's also this little mantra they do, like may the world know peace as well. Yeah. Like this is a guy who is broken.
Yeah, and I mean, in his resort was the game, and he did say too, like he remembered playing the game, so he knew about it, but like he tried to tell himself
ignore it.
it's not the same thing. Like he's like, oh, it's just coincidence. I'm like, no, it's not coincidence. You based your reality from this fictional video game.
Yeah, and she's like, escapism isn't healthy, and basically she tries to beat him into getting better again. And eventually all the person is like swapping in and out. It's like, stop it, you wench! Flat. And she's just like she's basically like beating the problem until it like solves itself.
Yeah, that was interesting just because she did that. And I gotta say, it's one of the few animes that I have seen where a female would just beat the living tar out of a male character. Like in other animes that, they might do like a kick or a punch, but that's it. But no, she was going at it for like...
Yeah, she was wailing on him. She was just like, bang, bang, pow. Like, she was just wailing on him and just like, holy shit, was she like a boxer? Was she a boxer in her spare time? Like hearts on fire. Wrong personality. She did this like 5-10 minutes. I didn't count, but like it felt like between 5-10 minutes. And the thing is that as she's doing this, like in Takashi's head, like he's like you see like reality, like you see like it doesn't have a split screen again where you're seeing what's going on actually in reality and what he's seeing, and you can kind of see like the layers are starting to break down.
Yeah,
and I just kind of like how the show tries to like tackle sort of like mental health, and almost like they sort of take it like in a somewhat they take it seriously enough where it isn't like insulting. Like you can like somewhat believe this is actually realistic. Like this guy is seeing like two versions of like reality at once, because like he's not even fucking sure who he is.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Yeah,
that's I guess that's the other charm what I appreciate We Without Wings. It's that psychological aspect where it tells a story while trying to address the issue with it and trying to find a solution to get him to face the real reality that's in front of him.
Because and what I like about it is that like Hayato and Shusuke, the reason why they do these jobs, make these connections, is they're doing it for Takashi. Because basically Takashi was supposed to be the one personality, but apparently like life became really rough for Takashi, and eventually the Shusuke and Hayato had to take over. And they're basically doing it because I think they literally said in one episode, like, we're not going to be here forever. We're doing this because like we're not going to be here forever, and like because eventually Takashi or fucking Yuji, like he's going to have to like face the music. Like this isn't reality. He can't just hide behind these multiple personas to fix his problems. Like he has to basically he has to do it himself, and this is where all the personalities they merge. And this is where we get Yuji. So eventually by the 12th episode, he basically all Takashi, Shusuke, and Hayato, they merge back into Yuji, and basically the main character is he is now going to face reality now, and no longer focus on escapism and move on with his life, which I just think is a really good ending.
Yeah,
and it takes the whole idea of split personality sort of very seriously. Basically they all merged back into one. And I think the funny thing is that I think now what I know about the visual novel itself is that almost he's taking the best attributes of Takashi, Shusuke, and Hayato, and almost merged them into one super personality. From what I've heard, I don't know if this is true yet because I haven't played the visual novel. But from what I don't think they do a great job of displaying it in the anime. But basically, he's merged. He's a greater sum. He's a greater whole than the sum of his parts. And
go ahead.
And then comes the next problem that he has. Three girls fell in love with each of his individual personalities, and now that feeling is rubbing off on old Yuji, because technically he is them. And so now he has this fucking harem, and he's like, may the world know peace, and oh boy am I fucked.
Yeah. And, I guess the other charm I have, and, it took me a while to figure it out. So, how they always meet at the church whenever they need to, tag team out?
Yep.
For it. And, because there's three personalities. Yep. It reminded me, with the Holy Trinity, because 3 in different cultures is supposed to be the strongest number. So, touching upon how the 3 of them merge into one to create a powerful entity, just one.
Yep.
Because of the 3, so I think it's a good touch, basing off on just the number 3 itself.
Yeah, it's just a really good motif. This is the type of show that first going into it, you're just what the fuck is this? What is this confusing slutty trash? And it's there is fan service parts and this there's some bazongas on screen, and I think there's even like a tit job on screen as well at one point, like uncensored. So I'm like, and like a lot of like sexual references. Like you first watch the show and you're just like, why am I watching this trash? Why am I watching this smut? And then you're like, oh, this is actually a lot like more interesting than you actually like. It's like one of those shows that has like, it's like, I think what separates it from other visual novel adaptations, like from most visual novel adaptations, like it's like it has layers to it. Now, granted, the VN probably has more layers to it, but considering that I can't find a translation and my Japanese is shit, it's gonna be a while till I find those layers.
Mm-hmm. I would say this. I'll say this about, as mentioned, the whole fan service. I think another cool mechanic they did was, they show us that on the first half of the anime, but in the second half, as things start to get more serious, then they start to tone down the fan service, where you might get like maybe a few scenes here and there, but it got more serious like towards the end, where like, oh shit, like, now we gotta start paying attention, now we gotta start focusing on the real story. Like, all the fun stuff is low key now, but now we're seeing, the whole story come full circle, coming to a conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not sure you felt the same way as I did.
Yeah. So basically, at the end, like, he merges into one and becomes like Yuji. And one of my favorite moments is that he says he thanks all the friends that he made in the little vignettes. And he basically like tells them what happens, and I kind of feel sad. Like we'll address like the harem in a bit, but like I feel like a lot of his friends are supportive of this, but they're also a bit sad in a sense, because it's because I think Yuji his name is Yuji. I think it's Yuji. Like he basically or Yuji. I don't know. Fucking, we'll just put Yuji, fuck it. Like he basically explains like, I inherited all the memories and stuff, and I remember all you guys, and like I remember all these times and how you looked after me and looked out, and I just wanted to say thank you and just, thank you for caring about me. And I like it how like his friends that he meets along the way, like they're happy for him, but at the same time I think there's a bit of sadness to it, because it's like it's great that our friend is better, but also it's not the same. Like he's like he's basically polymerization into like a super being now. Like he's no longer the Shusuke Blue Eyes White Dragon, or the Hayato Black Eyes Dragon, or the Takashi Wimp Dragon. They've activated the spell card polymerization and they've merged into one. And you get a bit of like, there's almost like a bit of sadness to it as well, which is kind of like, I mean, this is great, but I don't think Drac or Shusuke is coming back ever again.
Yeah, because they were their own person. In its own way, its own, how can I say this? It's like they did live, in that time they had, which is, I can see why they would be sad, because, it kind of isn't the same person. The presence was their own. It was their own identity. It was their own thing that they. Yeah, like
they changed people's lives. Like the woman, with Shusuke, Hayako. Like she gained more confidence in her book, in her literature, in her reading. Like she gained more confidence because of Shusuke, and that's why she starts to fall in love with him, because this is a guy who he may be a bit of a jokester, maybe a bit of a pervert, maybe a bit of a ladies' man, a bit of a charmer, but like deep down, like he's a really good guy. Like there was the thing where he gets jumped by the crazy guy with the gun. Like he throws a chair and he goes like right in the way and takes like a hit to the fucking head, and he's like bleeding and shit. And she's like, "Oh my god, Shusuke, are you alright?" Like she's a bit like at the beginning, she's a bit like angry at him because of misunderstandings, and like she's a bit standoffish, like she's a bit angry at him because of like various misunderstandings. But as the show goes on, like she becomes close to him, and like this isn't like just another personality. Like this person was someone that she was actually falling in love with and enjoyed in the company, but that's gone. Like, or like with Hayato, like you have fucking Naru, and she's like falling in love with Hayato, and like like they could have almost like have a yin and yangs like thing. Like she's like sweet and kind of naive and stuff, and he's like this gruff, hard boiled kind of guy. Like they kind of have this yin and yang relationship. Like they'll never have that again, because
that it was their own thing. Like it was their own little chemistry they had. So it just, the chemistry, I guess that's what I was looking for earlier. Like each of the girls, or each of the other characters that knew these personalities, they had their own little chemistry, their own way of communicating, of having that type of bond. Now that the same bond is not there, like to the full extent, like it's got like a fraction of it.
Yeah, it's like he's now like 1/3 of these people, and like the scene at the beginning where like he's walking with his sister, and then they like show up and it's like romantic and stuff. They show that scene at the 12th episode, and apparently the dialogue is different. Like they're basically just like, I want to get like Hayato back, or like, oh, thanks to Shusuke, my book is like thing, and basically like they're attaching those feelings onto Yuji now, like the Ubermensch personality now. Like they're attaching those feelings and bonds to him because to him, like because he has a very strong relationship with all three of these girls because he's inherited the memories and the feelings from all three personalities. But to them, like, it's not the same. They're just, like, it's almost like he's a substitution for the people they have lost, but they haven't lost them truly because they're still there, kind of. Like, it's complicated.
Yeah. No, it is. That, I guess, that's what makes it even more of a compelling story. Like, where do they go from there? Like, now, how do they carry on, with this, this one entity?
Yeah, this entity, because I know that there is actually a prequel and I think, like, a sequel to the game. And I kind of want to know, like, I mean, this would make a very entertaining harem. Like...
It's got to be, man.
Like how do you is this like a situation where basically he's just like, well, I care for all three of these people because I had split personalities and they care about me. Let's just have a harem. Fuck it. Is that like that would be crazy, but also like it would actually kind of make sense if you think about it. Like this would actually be one of those shows where it actually feels actually normal to have like a harem because it's so crazy.
It's funny you mentioned the harem because I imagine, like, in a small way, like, the three personalities, they almost could have had their own. Like, we've seen these personalities, like, these Takeshi with his, like, timid nature in other animes. Like, we've seen those characters before. Same thing with Shusuke. Same thing that, his
Hayato.
His goofiness, or Hayato, his gruffness. Like, I've seen some animes where, like the man is tough, but, they serve their own harems. Like, I was questioning, like, what if you just had one guy that had all three of those personalities, where they're not too timid, they're not too tough, like they're not too rough around the edges, they're not too silly where it's almost like rinse repeat, where like they can still kind of like alternate with each girl, like they can still have that charm to it, that bit of the seriousness. Like I always thought about that, man. Like I'm not sure about you if you thought the same way, but I guess it kind of got my answer in a weird way from this show.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, there is like a sequel to this game. Like, there is an after story. So if we've like, because apparently there's like a prelude, then like the main game, and then like after story. By the way, so the visual novel altogether apparently is like 90 hours long.
Cool.
Bro,
wow.
That is a hefty... like, once my Japanese gets to another level, like, I am going to be playing the fuck out of this game. But, like, the approximate altogether, like, the maximum is 90 hours. And they did I feel that this is a show that should have had 24 episodes. Because there's a lot of references to shit. Now, obviously, it's Japanese, so maybe there's references that we don't get because we're not from Japan. So, but basically, there's 90 hours of content from the visual novel maximum. And I'm just like, do you think this was a show that would have been better, like, even more better, if it was, like, maybe 24 episodes or maybe, like, just 15 or 20?
Yes, I would go 24, just so the story itself can have, like, more breathing room. Make sure that when it's telling a story, it's telling it at a decent pace, where it's not trying to rush any storylines. It's not trying to get to the next chapter as fast as it can.
Yeah, because I think we've been pretty positive about the show, but I guess we could talk about some of the negatives for now. I think one problem with the show is that even though it has this charm to it, I think the pacing is a bit too fast. Like, we're not given much room to breathe, and it's like one of those shows is just like, if only this was 24 episodes, this would be perfect, because 90 hours of, like, the main visual novel, which is what this anime is adapting, I'm assuming, like, it's about 50 plus hours max. Like, there has to be more fucking content that we're not seeing. Like, more interactions, more, like, dynamics, like...
Alright, let me jump in this one. Yes, like, you know the side characters? Or, I don't call them side characters, feel so disrespectful, but like the other characters were like Hayato, Shunsuke, and Takeshi to a point. I kind of was curious about like some of the other ones, like what's their backstory, like what's their gain, you know?
Yeah, like what is like emo gang leader guy doing? Like what the fuck is he doing? Like why is
this? Yeah.
Like why is he in this war, like this gang, like this almost like street gang war with you know, Bird Person, or you know, like, or what is the bartender from Alexander doing, or what about the African guy, the African American guy who's selling jewelry, or what about Alice, the little girl who's like walking around at nighttime without like parental supervision? Like,
yeah.
What is up with that? Like, I swear to God, like I want to play this visual novel because I kind of want to know, like, there's more, like I'm not expecting deep characters here, but there's more interactions, more dynamics. Like this show is almost like a pot, like a stew, and like I feel like the visual novel is almost like the complete stew. Like the anime is like the anime is like an entree of like this really great stew, and like the visual novel is almost like the complete package. Like the flavor, the zest, like all these interactions. Because like.
Yeah, like we care about some of these characters, and then there's some other characters like, you know, we want more like, okay, why should we care about their existence, like, or why do we care that they're on my screen? Like, especially like the game leaders, like, you know, those four dudes, like got the guy who raps,
yes,
and those three guys, like they're almost kind of throwaway. You know, kind of like I like the rapping guy. I'll say that right now. I like the guy.
I like him in the English dub. I like him in both sub and dub. He's like,
yes.
like the English dub. He's like, calm down, cheery hoes. I'll help you get the bros. Like
he's a he's just that alone. Like it's like I like this guy. Like this guy is a funny dude. I keep him. Like I want to see more of him.
He's like, if you keep up with me, I'll give you skills for life. You can even bang the president's wife. And I like the English the dub voice actor and even the Japanese voice actor. Like they just do so well. Like you can believe this is an actual guy. Like he's just, you know, he's busting a bit of a rap. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you said perfect. Like he felt like he was a real human being. Like he's probably like a guy like, you know, you knew or you kind of know in your life, you know, someone that likes rap, like the big dude, like I like this, like the big guys.
I'm thinking of it like he's almost like a Biggie Smalls. He's almost like Biggie Smalls. Like he's like that big guy. You know, he looks a little rough around the edges, but he's just a really good guy, and he likes to rap, and he like, you know, he tells that it is. You know, he wants to help his bros, and you know, be chill. You know, he's gonna be your nigger and all this stuff. Like, you know, he's like the guy. Like this guy, like you know, like I want to know about this guy's story. Like, what is he doing in Japan? Like, where did he learn to rap? Like the three like stooges. You know, I guess we can call them. Like, what are they doing there part time? Like, one's got dreads and smokes. Like, okay, where's he from? Or the African American guy that sells like trinkets. Like, what's his story? Like, why is he in Japan selling trinkets? Like, what's his story? You know, like, or like the tanned piercing guy. Like, you know, he looks like, like, what's his story?
For me, you know who I want to know about? I want to know about that goth girl, the one who hangs on the game. Like, they tried to kind of like give her more screen time during like the pie throwing. Like,
yes,
I want to know, like, okay, because I'll say this right now on your video, goth girls have a place in my heart. I'm gonna say right now. So
they do in mine as well. So
I want to know, like, okay, why is she with these knuckleheads? Like, I think she was like the only female in that game of guys. Like,
yeah, because if I remember correctly, like basically the emo gang kind of broke up, and like two people like joined up, and they become part of like Hayato's like friend circle. Like they like even at the end of like Hayato's like story arc, they come and help him like find the bike, you know, with Naru and stuff. Like it's almost like, oh, the friends we made along the way. Like it's cool, it's sweet, it's wholesome, you know. Like what are these two goth people doing here? Like they you know, what are they doing here? Or like there's even like another girl, like I think it's Miyako, who's got split personalities as well. Like she's like depressing and stuff and introspective, and then she's like hyperactive and all this crap. It's like, dude, what's that girl's story? Or like the bitchy girl, Masako, you know, the bitchy girl, you know, at Takashi's school. Like she starts blushing, like she hangs around Takashi quite a lot, like like, is there, like, does she have, like, feelings for Takashi or something? Like, is that why she's being, like, bitchy towards him? Like, cause she blushes when Hayato goes, like, fucking bra mode on the class, and she's, like, blushing and, like, she's like, her jaw is dropping.
Yeah, I think for that, I think we should know more. Like, I think the show kind of expected us to fill in the blank, which I don't mind doing it to a point, but like when they keep doing this over and over again, then it kind of gets a little repetitive. Like, okay, clearly the show wanted to do some of this character, but it didn't pull the trigger for some reason. I don't know, but you know, if they really want to commit to it, they gotta commit to it. Like, you know, there's only so much.
There's a lot. Like, this is why the show should have had 24 episodes. Like, there's a lot of missed opportunities to make the show like actually decent, like even more decent than it is. When we say the show is decent, like, it's decent for what it is. Like, for a generic visual novel adaptation. It doesn't go beyond that. But, like, if it had 24 episodes and tried to, like, you know, flesh out those characters, flesh out those relationships, like, honestly, like, we could be looking at, like, maybe a 7 out of 10 here. Like, I mean, if we stretch it, like, we could be going for, like, maybe, like, a 6 out of 10. Like, nothing groundbreaking, but as far as, like, enjoyment goes, like...
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good. And I feel like this is, like, one of the problems with anime based on visual novels, that, like, sometimes they can't, like, flesh out or give you the full content, and it kind of becomes, like, you know, read the visual novel kind of ending, you know, like, read the manga kind of ending, like, those type of endings. Like, it, like, that whole format in itself, it can be very, like, I get why they did it. Like, I understand why they do it, because, you know, sometimes there's budget constraints, or, you know, the problems with the industry. You know, that, because, you know, I've heard stories about, like, the animation industry, and it's not exactly great. Like, it's not all hunky-dory. And, like, in a perfect world, we'd get 24 episodes, but we're not in that perfect world. But, like, the one core format, I think, affects with storytelling, I think, and it kind of... I feel that this show is a victim of that. Like, it kind of took a dip.
Well, I think, here's I wanted to put my inputs. Think about this, too. This show came out in 2010, and this is like during, like, you know, late 2000s, early 2010s. This is like when animes were slowly being based off visual novels, because for the longest time, like, either animes were being made based off mangas. Now we're getting animes that are getting based off you know, visual novels. So I think it was one of those. This one particular, We Without Wings, it fell victim to being one of the first few in the lineup where, okay, this is what happens if we turn it into an anime, but with only 13 episodes.
Yeah,
and
if I remember correctly, like, I think there's been, like, visual novel adaptations before. Like, there's quite a few, but not as, like, excessive as we get nowadays. Like, you definitely start seeing, like, in the early 2000s and beyond, like, there's more, like, visual novel adaptations, because, like, there have been, like, visual novel adaptations, like, we've had Fate Stay Night, Utawari Moromo, Da Capo, Shuffle, you know, we've had some of those shows, but it is not to the extent we've had, like, starting in early 2010 and beyondwards, and maybe, like, the show fell victim to sort of, like, we're gonna test the waters a bit, because, like, this show got a dub and stuff. Yep. Like, this show has Blu-rays in, like, Western audiences, so, like, this show has to be, like, it must have done very well. Not, if not in Japan, but in the West, it must have done pretty well.
And I'll say this, too, like, because you also brought up Fate Stay Night. Even the first rendition of Fate Stay Night was not perfect. Like, you know, it had its own
Dean finds a
charm.
way.
Yeah, and then guess what happens? They start remaking it, like, until it started becoming more compelling. Yeah, so, you know, who's to say that maybe this could be, like, the answer? Okay, it's okay for studios to remake a show as long as they are improving it, both its story, both its narrative, its character development. I'm okay with that. Like, maybe in the next 5-10 years, a studio, it doesn't have to be the same studio, it could be another one that could give it the Fate Stay Night tune-up, where, okay, now we can start.
Well, they're actually doing that. Like, I think there's a show they're making a remake. Like, they're making a remake of fucking Digimon Adventure. Like even though the original was good, they're making, like, an actual remake of it, like a retelling of it. And Full Metal Alchemist did the same thing as well. They had, like, the original, which is the, like, gets anime original, and then they had Brotherhood, which is is like completely faithful to the manga.
I think it should be more focused on like the ones that didn't really hit the mark. Like again with We Without Wings, like it's there, but it could be better. And there's other shows like that too, where they're still at that 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Make a remake where it can either scratch a 10 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. That I think that could be a good answer, a good solution. For shows like this.
I don't think we're gonna get that. But
I mean, I know it's wishful thinking, but
hey, listen, it's better than being a doomer, okay? The 30-year-old the doomer memes. Anyway, but like just speaking of this characters, like overall, like the characters, like they don't have really much depth to them, but I think they have charm to them, and I think that's the big word here, is that all the characters have like a charm to them.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you on that one.
And since we're sort of talking about like the art, like the getting a remake, we should sort of like discuss like sort of art and animation. So I'll be back in a second. But just tell me your thoughts on like the art and animation, because I need to take a quick pee. I need to take a quick piss. So back at sec. So just talk about your thoughts on the art and animation.
Okay. Yeah. So for the art style, like it's not the best. It's not the Ufu Tobre type of style, nor is it like the old 90s 2000 style where it's still cells animated. But it's pretty in its own way when they design the characters, their faces, their eyes, their hair, even the lights, both in the daytime and nighttime. It still has its own uniqueness to it that you can tell you're watching We Without Wings. It's Bob will definitely agree with me on this one. When you are talking about the animation style, like it's got to have that appeal where you can tell that it has that aura to it, where each episode, each scene, it transitions with like what's going on in each episode, what's going on in the moment as the story progresses. And you're back.
Yeah. So I think I continue with your thing, and then I'll just add my thoughts. Like, have you finished?
Yeah. I probably just came full swing.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I would like to say that like for a show that like for a visual novel adaptation that came out in like 2010, like this show is actually it's actually fairly well animated, and it actually looks decent. Like especially on Blu-rays, because I've got like a Blu-ray copy. Like this show isn't this show is not like unlimited budget works or like Sword Art Online, but this is definitely like very good. Like I would say it's like maybe as light 7 out of 10 as far as like animation and art is concerned. Like it looks fairly decent.
Yeah, I was just saying about that too. Like I made a comparison where again it's not unlimited budget works type of animation, but like it's right there. It hit its mark that you're watching We Without Wings.
And another thing I really like about the animation is and I think we'll just sort of like dive this into like the music of it. Like if you ever watch like the opening, and like we'll tie this in. So like what I really like about the opening is not just the song itself that's just really catchy, but also like the motifs and the visualization they use. Is like they have like the main heroine like walking, like the main heroines like walking through the street, and then like on a TV on a skyscraper, like we'll have like one of the characters like pair up, and then like the TV will start fuzzing as they're looking for this person, and then they do a thing like at the end where like all three main protagonists are like standing in a field, and then like the main heroines like grow wings, become angels, and start like flying them away up to the sky. Like just the really cool like I just like the visual motifs and like the show uses it even the jump cuts when it jumps to a different scene, like it uses the motif of changing the channel, which it's a really good like visualization and a really like clever way to sort of like change scenes. Christian.
I
thought I broke you, like Christian.
No.
EXE not responding.
No, you definitely you definitely went to great detail, and I think you've knocked it out of the park with that one.
Yeah. Like, so anyway, I also like the music and the soundtrack. Like it's like nothing is like inherently special, but it's like they all like the music and the soundtrack they have like kind of just adds to a scene in a very like not subtle but a very it kind of just fits. Like the soundtracks they have for the show, it's like this kind of fits. Like it's not amazing, but it kind of fits. Like do you get that?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, like with music, like it helps when we have that like the radio guy talking to where like the DJ he kind of like helps get get the mood going. Where okay, we're moving from this moment to this moment, and like you can hear the music, kicking in, and like okay, we're doing this now. So that's something I appreciate how the show makes that transition.
Yeah, dude, I love fucking DJ Condor. That guy is my spirit animal. He's so cool.
No, he is. And again, going back to charm, he definitely has it. Like he's got that charisma where he gets you pumped up. Or
yeah, he's got like he's just like he's got like a plus 30 to charisma. So if he even if he gets like a 1, like a nat 1, he's still gonna succeed.
Oh no, he is, man. Like, and to be, what's funny about him? He's actually the voiced by Brendan Potter. An actor who's kind of like, I kind of wish I would hear him in more stuff, but it's like he's like that special ingredient that you only use, when you have a specific dish that demands it,
Oh, so he's like the secret ingredient.
Yeah, almost like that Krabby Patty secret formula.
I was about to go there.
I had to throw in a SpongeBob reference.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of SpongeBob. Talk about more about SpongeBob later. Anyway, yeah, like he's just like it's like the show just has so much fucking charm to it. Like I know we're kind of repeating ourselves, but like it's a good show. But anyway, like aside from DJ Condor being a Chad, animation and like sound being decent, I think we should just sort of like wrap this up with sort of like ending thoughts, because like we're reaching to an hour and I think we've kind of like discussed most of the points, or like just sort of talked about most of the points about the show. So do you want me to do my ending thoughts, or do you want to do yours first?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead with you.
All right. For me, because I've got like biscuits that I'm eating, so man, for me, this is the type of show that like you expect almost like nothing from, but then it gives you like something very like this is the type of show that like you don't expect nothing much from, but it gives you like almost like this magical special experience that like you can just enjoy. Like I still find myself like every now and then like watching, like putting the show on and like putting it on in the background, because it just has this charm and allure that like keeps on dragging me back, and like on a critical level, kind of middle of the road, and on like but like on an entertainment level, like it's just like I just find this like mildly entertaining, and it just has this charm to it. And like I like the sort of like almost like anti-escapist themes it has, like at the end, where it basically says like reality is what you make of it. Don't like try and escape. You've got to accept reality and try your best to deal with the problems and stuff like that. Like I like the sort of like the slight anti-escapism themes the show has, because there are people that become neats, otakus, like they can't deal with real life and they basically like hide behind like internet and keyboard and stuff. Now granted, I'm a bit like that myself, but like not to the extreme that some people take it. Like I don't know, like this is just one of those shows that just is just like just a very decent, like just a very fun watch. Like I'll probably go into more detail like when I do like my actual review of it like sometime in the fucking future, but like this is just a really charming, entertaining show that tackles a lot of interesting themes, has a lot of cool motifs, and just like you just don't expect this from a visual novel, like especially a visual novel adaptation. And that's kind of my ending thoughts. So your thoughts?
Yeah, for what the show is, I think it did its job with the best of its ability with the 13 episodes that it gave us. The message I enjoyed with the psychological aspect, just confronting reality, just fighting with oneself, trying to confine the negativity in your life. It's a fun show to watch, and the characters that surround the character or characters, I think they kind of help bring that charm, bring that human element where a person does need like support from other people, and I think it did a good job trying to have that emotional bond with all these characters, and you got a good English dub cast and a good Japanese sub.
Yeah, the sub and dub, like I have no complaints. Like I don't know, like I'm more of a sub person myself, but like the dub for this is actually pretty decent. Like I don't have any problems.
No, I know that it's more of a preference thing, but the message is still the same either way. It still delivers a tone that's trying to set. It's still giving you the message that it wants the viewers to grasp. And I hope that we get shows that are similar to it, but again, to like improve what was lacking or put in what we probably didn't get from these 12 episodes.
Yeah, I have read a couple of VNs that do have like that are similar, except like they dive more into like psychological themes. But I don't think those are ever going to get like adaptations. Like, have you ever heard of like Super Hibike?
No, I don't think I have.
I played a game and I was like in a podcast where we talked about it. I don't think that's ever going to get an anime adaptation because that's like it's even more dark and more seriously fucked up than this show ever was.
I mean, I think we sort of got our answer, but the industry, it's different. Like maybe they will take more chances. Maybe they will do something different. Like we have what we have in terms of stories that we want to look forward to. What kind of stories that appeal to us. I'm not picky with what I got with what I look for. I just want a decent story in any show or in any medium. And I don't think I'm ever gonna lose that. I think I'm always gonna be surrounded by good stories wherever I go. I'm probably fortunate enough to say that. I'm not sure about you, Bio. Maybe you burned through a bunch of good stories in your lifetime, but I'm still always reaching out for.
The problem is
stuff.
that like I've watched like almost 900 plus shows, and I'm not like the reason why like at the moment I'm taking a break off anime because I'm like watching Kamen Rider and stuff. But like at this point, like I've had to pace myself because if I don't pace myself, I'm gonna grow incredibly bored. But I've seen people watch 100 shows and they just like give up on the medium. Like anime is like a medium that is worth watching and is worth like people may say like, oh, why do you bother? Like why do you bother making these videos? It's just it's a bunch of it's just cartoons, dude. And I'm like, no, anime is more than that. Like anime as a medium is such a great fucking medium with so much variation and so much like interesting things it can talk about. Like this show, for example, and I feel that these types of shows, like I think like someone should talk about these things and tell people, like show people why this is important. Like why, like I don't just talk about anime because I like hentai and ecchi and anime titties. Like I don't talk about anime just because of that, even though that's a pretty big bonus. Like I talk about it because I want to showcase people that like you don't like you can tell stories by just using animation. You can detail complex themes using animation, by using art, by using creativity. Like complete these narratives and instead of people doubling down and say like, oh, it's just a kids cartoon, it's for kids. If it's animated, it means it must be for kids. Like no, like that's an ignorant mindset and like that's an ignorant and naive stereotype. Like think of shows like Berserk or Legend of the Galactic Heroes or Ergo Proxy or Technolize or the anime adaptation of Count of Monte Cristo. Shows or Shokugo Rinko. I think the one show about like Rakugo plays, about Japanese Rakugo plays. Like honestly, would some of that shit work if it was like live action? Like I don't think so. Like I think it's those things that you can only do in anime or at least light novels or manga. Like for anime, the sky's the limit. And I think We Without Wings is one of those shows that showcases that you can do something different and have it succeed. Like you can tackle some interesting the split personality and like the abuses and the mental psychological issue of that. Like that's a pretty fucking heavy topic, and the show tackles it masterfully. And I think the show just showcases that hey, you can do these things. Like these things are possible, and anime isn't just for kids because it's animated.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, man. I probably assess stuff similar to what you said. It's a medium that I will probably be sticking to for a very long time. I really have not really taken any breaks from it. Like, well,
if I was you, I would just like pace it out. Like, there's like once a year, I take a break from watching anime for a bit, and, like because I move on to something else, and then I go right back to it. It's like,
I mean, I'm fine. I mean, I think my mentality is a little different than yours. Like, I just don't get burned out from it like some people do.
You see, my mental stamina is a lot. Like, it's probably because I'm autistic, but like my mental stamina and fortitude is probably a lot. Like, my threshold is probably a lot higher than some of these people. Because like what I see with a lot of these people is they just consume. Like, they don't think. They don't like. Now, granted, there are some shows that are literally meant for consumption and entertainment, and that's perfectly fine. But there are other shows that try to be deep, that try to have these messages. If they fail or not with those messages, that's up for debate. But at least they try. Like, for example, Monica Magica. As much as I don't like it, okay, like I think it fails at what it's trying to do. Like, I think the idea of it is great. Like, I think some of the aspects of it is great, and I appreciate it for it existing. Or shows like Psycho-Pass or some of these other shows. Like, I appreciate and I enjoy the fact that they exist. Now, whether they're good or not is entirely up to debate, and I'm happily to debate those. I'm happily to debate and talk that out with people. But the fact that they exist, the fact that it tries to make you think, like think about concepts, think about this, expand your mind, think about these things. Like the fact that anime tries to do this, some succeed and some don't. But like think about it. Like this is just my advice to you, like, and to anyone who's watching, like, don't consume, like, think about it. Think about these things. Don't be a consumer, because otherwise you're going to burn out and not care about the medium. And this is a medium that you should care about. I mean, look at what fucking happened to comics. People stopped caring about them, and just like the comic industry, like the mainstream comic industry, like that shit's on fire for various reasons we're not going to tackle in this podcast, because, you know, we've got to keep it PC, ladies and gentlemen. You know, but, you know, like, this is a medium that's worth fighting for and worth caring about, and that is why I watch anime. This is why I make these videos, and this is why you, the audience, you watching right now, should care. Like Christian here, he does interviews with voice actors for anime and stuff like that. You know, people who try and help, you know, bring these characters to life. I mean, that's how much he cares, and this is how much I care. Like, I spent hours editing, like, fucking autistically long videos about a show. Like, okay, fuck, I'm sorry, I went into a rant, my bad. But basically, you know, anime is a fucking medium that's great, and it's worth fighting for. I'll just edit half the shit out, but, you know, rant over. But, you know, anime is a good medium, and people should watch more anime.
Well said, man. Well said.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. So, this is Bio Gundam. Thank you for watching, and maybe we'll have Christian on again for another video, or maybe you'll see me on his channel. We'll find out. We'll see what the future holds. This is Bio Gundam.
I hope to be back.
Yep, that's good to have him here. So this is Bio Gundam signing out.